Good evening, good folks, and welcome to the City of Muskegon City Commission General Session meeting for this Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Before we get into our business this evening, I want to remind folks that there are a couple of public comment periods. One is towards the beginning of the meeting and any agenda items, so anything on here, the agendas are in the back of the room. And there's another public comment period at the end of the meeting on any topic you wish to discuss. We also accept phone-in comments, so people watching at home, whether that's on Comcast Channel 96, YouTube, or Facebook Live, will be able to phone in at the appropriate time to give public comment. If you are in the room, we ask that you complete a public comment form. It's at the very back of the room on the table. Please provide your name and your home address. Note, I will not be sharing your home address, nor will I be asking you to announce your home address when I call you up to speak. That is for our internal records. I will be acknowledging what neighborhood you might live in if you're a city resident, or if you're not a city resident, what township, village, or other city you are joining us from. And before we get on with our business, we do start our meetings with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. If you wish to join us for either of those, I ask that you stand if you're so able to do so. And tonight we're being led in prayer by Pastor Reverend Mackenzie Jaggard from First Presbyterian Church of Muskegon. Welcome.
Let's pray together. God, we thank you for the city of Muskegon and for all the people, plants, animals, rivers, lakes, and more that call this place home. As we live, work, and play here, we ask that you make us into better and better neighbors. May we treat one another with ever greater love and respect. Together, may we make Muskegon a place where everyone belongs. Everyone is safe, everyone is valued, and everyone has the opportunity to flourish. God, we ask that you give us courage and curiosity. Make us generous. Fill us with joy and humor, and help us to tackle the issues facing us today and every day with boundless creativity and stubborn hope. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Reverend Jaggard, for joining us in prayer, leading us in prayer tonight. All right, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Cochin?
Here.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Here.
Commissioner Keener?
Here.
Commissioner German?
Here.
Commissioner Gorman?
Here.
All present and accounted for. All right, before we get on with public comment on agenda items and the rest of our meeting, we do have a couple of honors awards and presentations. The first one is for our Muskegon High School Big Reds football team in honoring and recognition of their state champion last year. We did pass this resolution last year, but we are presenting it now. And one of the reasons why I wanted it adopted last year before the year end was so that our then Commissioner Hood could be part of that resolution, since he, like myself as well as Commissioner German, are Big Red alums, as well as our city clerk over there, and Mish. So without further ado, I'm going to read out the resolution that we unanimously adopted at the end of last year, and then we'll be presenting that, as well as our new street sign, also recognizing this accomplishment. So as recognition of Muskegon High School's Big Reds football team, whereas the Muskegon High School Big Reds football team had an exciting, hard-fought, and remarkable 2023 season, and whereas despite this season beginning with back-to-back losses on the field, which did not undermine the teams prevailing at Ford Field on November 25th to win the 2023 Division II state championship. And whereas this victory also represented the 900th win for Muskegon High School football in its history. And whereas MHS has the winningest football program in the state of Michigan and holds the distinction of having the 6th most game wins nationwide. And whereas Coach Shane Fairfield, who has been with MHS football for a combined 20 seasons, became head coach in 2010 and is currently the second winningest coach in school history with a 154-29 record. And whereas the steadfast determination shown by every staff member and student player of MHS football instills pride in our Muskegon community and deserves recognition. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Muskegon honors MHS football and commends the student athletes for their outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and hard work. This foregoing resolution was presented by Mayor Johnson, acted upon by Commissioner Hood for adoption, which was supported by Commissioner St. Clair, and same was duly passed at a general session of the City of Muskegon City Commission. And I also just want to point out another distinction is Vice Mayor St. Clair happens to be the spouse of a school board member, Kwame James of Muskegon Public Schools. So a lot of connections there. But we are so proud of the Muskegon High School and the football team and each of the student athletes and the staff that has instilled in our youth good character, strong minds, and a will to win. And we really appreciate the work of Coach Fairfield and his staff and the hard work of each of our student athletes. And I'm proud to see that a lot of the student athletes that have joined us this evening are not seniors, and so they're going to be around next year and the future years to keep on winning those championships. So thank you and congrats to you all. Football players, you want to come up?
Back around here.
That's fair.
Together.
Love it.
Those are big juniors.
Hard work that these young men put in. This is the future of our city and our county and our state. It is an honor for us to represent all of you on Friday nights and on TV and playing for state championships, because it definitely displays the hard work of what Muskegon and the city of Muskegon is all about. To all the commissioners and secretaries that make our city roll, from our team to your team, we thank you very much for the opportunity and making us proud to be a part of this program and part of our community, and we will continue to do our best to do our side of it as well. So, from the Muskegon Big Red, all my coaches, our administration, our district, thank you to all of our mayors and commissioners and all of our residents. We hope we can make you proud, and think that's where you're from, you can say Muskegon, and really know exactly where we're at. So, we're definitely on the map. I'm born and raised here in this city, and proud of it. So, from all these guys, thank you once again, and go Big Red.
Go Big Red!
Yes, Greg.
Took that sign out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Congratulations.
Are we gonna take the sign back to hang it up?
Thank you.
We're going to have you back in here when you win the next championship.
We want them to actually take the sign with them, or
Oh,
They're on the road. We need that.
congratulations again.
Yeah, they keep that one.
Coach, congratulations.
Please stay seated, please. I was wondering.
Yes,
Congratulations.
they get
We're
one.
gonna need that sign back.
That one's for them. We got you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Good.
smart thinking though.
Yes.
So grateful to have our football team come in, and Coach Fairfield flying in just in the nick of time, coming from the Super Bowl. As you may know, he was the Detroit Lions Coach of the Year for the state of Michigan, and then he was also the Don Shula National Coach of the Year, Football Coach of the Year, High School Football Coach of the Year for the NFC. And so with that, he got to go out to the Super Bowl and see that in person. And so he just flew back into town today. So we're grateful to have him. And many congrats to Coach Fairfield. And I'm confident he's going to move on from the second winningest coach in Muskegon High School's history to soon become the winningest coach in Muskegon High School's history. Next up, we have a resolution honoring and celebrating Black History Month. Commissioner German.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. And good evening, everyone. Just like to say good evening and hello. This is a special moment. I do this every year, try to pay tribute to Black historians, anyone who has paved the way for our country, our city, and the leadership that they have done. Myself and many others stand on the shoulder of many of these leaders, civil rights leaders, the presidents, school board officials who made their marks, judges. So today, what I want to do is present this resolution. And a lot of times we overlook the leaders within our community because we have a lot of history right here in the city of Muskegon. So as I highlight some of the names that you will hear in this resolution, you'll probably see some of the pictures that will be shown on the screen there. And even if I could have those individuals stand up when I do call the names, I appreciate that very much. Man, it's writing small. Okay, resolution number 2004-16B. City of Muskegon, honoring and celebrates Black history. Whereas Africans were first brought involuntarily to the shores of American colonies as early as the 17th century. And whereas Black Americans suffered enslavement and subsequently faced the horrors of lynching, violent mobs, economic exploitation, forced poverty, Jim Crow laws, domestic terrorism, segregation, mass incarceration, and the denial of fundamental rights of citizenship. And whereas in 2024, the harms of such injustice and inequalities still reverberate. And whereas in the face of atrocities, Black Americans have distinguished themselves with a commitment to the noble ideals on which the United States was founded and have fought bravely for the rights and freedoms of Black Americans and others. And whereas Black History Month, a federally recognized and national-wide celebration, calls for all Americans to reflect on the significant roles that Black Americans have played in shaping U.S. history and the American experience. And whereas Dr. Carter G. Woodson, son of former slaves who persevered in his education, earning a master's in history from the University of Chicago and a PhD in history from Harvard University, was a key figure in advancing American history, African American history. And whereas Dr. Woodson founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History in 1915 and started its publication, Journal of Negro History, in 1916. And whereas in 1926, Dr. Woodson established Negro History Week, he believed the achievements of the Negro properly set forth and will crown him as a factor in the early human progress and a maker of modern civilization. And whereas the second week of February was chosen as Negro History Week, as it marks the birthday of two men who greatly influenced the Black American experience. Frederick Douglass, who escaped slavery and became an abolitionist and civil rights leader, and President Abraham Lincoln, who issued the Emancipation Proclamation to abolish slavery in America's Confederate States. And whereas in 1976, President Gerald R. Ford recognized Black History Month, urging Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishment of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. And whereas Black Americans have worked against racism to achieve success, to make significant contributions to economics, educational, political, artistic, athletics, literary, and scientific and technological advancements. And whereas in 1983, Daniel Oglesby became the first Black American man to become a member of the City Commission, and in 1986 was appointed the city's first Black mayor. And whereas in 1988, Blanche Smith was elected as the first Black American woman to serve on the commission, and in 1995 was appointed mayor for the city of Muskegon. And whereas in 2001 to 2008, Karen Bowie became the first Black woman to serve as county clerk in Muskegon County and reappointed in 2003. And whereas in 1998, the Honorable Gregory C. Pittman became the first Black American man to be seated as judge of any court in Muskegon County. And whereas in 2008, the people of the United States of America elected Barack Obama, a Black African American man, to be the country's 44th president. And whereas in 2020, the people of the United States elected Kamala D. Harris, a Black American woman, to serve as Vice President of the United States. And whereas the city of Muskegon recognizes that everyone deserves to live in peace and dignity and harmony and equality and social justice for all groups, as reflected in the proclamation opposing racism adopted in 2017. And whereas the city of Muskegon honors Juneteenth National Independence Day, joining in the celebration of freedoms for Black Americans. And now, therefore, it be resolved, the city of Muskegon honors and acknowledges the month of February as Black History Month. And be it resolved further, the city of Muskegon celebrates Dr. Carter G. Woodson as the father of Black history. And be it resolved finally, the city commission for the city of Muskegon commemorates the tremendous contributions of Black Americans to the development and the history of both the city of Muskegon and the United States of America. The foregoing resolution was offered by Commissioner German and supported by Commissioner Keener, and the same was duly passed at a general session of the City of Muskegon Commission.
We're about to be.
Yes, yes.
I take it we have a motion by Commissioner German, supported by Commissioner Keener, to adopt this resolution number 2024-16B, where the City of Muskegon honors and celebrates Black history. Before we go to roll call of vote, do you have any additional commentary on this resolution and this month?
Yes. This is a special month. I would like the elected officials and leaders and former mayors to please stand up to let the people in the public know who you are. And let's give them a hand. I'd like to say Miss Blanche Smith, I worked on her campaign as a young man. I always tell the story, but I have to give homage and I have to pay my dues, because if it wasn't for her and her leadership, I probably wouldn't be in this seat today as elected official. And she was a big inspiration. The Honorable Gregory Pittman, another influencer, like a big brother. Anytime I needed something, I could go to him and talk. A real positive guy. So thank you both for your service and your leadership and the mentorship that you've gave me.
Any other remarks, commissioners, at this time, or thoughts you wish to share? No? All right, I would like to give an opportunity to either Judge Pittman or Mayor Smith, if you would like to share any remarks while you're here. Your presence is a blessing to us, and we're honored to have you here. Each of you are living history.
Yep.
And we are so grateful to have you, and incredibly grateful for your contributions and service to our community over the years.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. German, Ward Commissioner down. Yeah, it's an honor. I always say you never get enough thanks for what you did, but so what? You didn't do it for that, you know. I hadn't had people, some of my friends in Muskegon helped me to do the thing that I tried to do, and I did the best I could, which was very good. I see you still got the same logo. Very good, very nice in here. Yeah, it's okay. So I thank you, but I promised him a gift if he would do that for me. So
Oh, me? Oh. Well, thank you.
How are you?
Oh, thank you very much.
Hey, Mayor
Okay.
Smith, while you're here, we're gonna get up there. There's an opportunity to. Give you a hug. Thank you.
Right, it's a little small.
I felt bad. I was like, we should have got it a little bit bigger. I'm sorry. But
No, that's all right, but it worked.
yeah, you did it good.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Glasses. Those are nice glasses.
I would like to say a word. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
please, Commissioner Peter.
Just saying thank you for all of your service to both of you. Miss Smith, I grew up in the Urban League office, and so she was always there, always loving on me as a little girl. And Judge, he practically helped save my life. When I was skipping school and was not in tune, and he was at the Red Building, him and his wife with their little babies, and they poured so much into us black kids who come from broken homes, who we had the smarts, we had the ability, we just didn't see it in ourselves. And I appreciate you and Ms. Pittman for everything you all did at that big old red building.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mayor, did
Yes.
the judge want to say anything?
Would you like to? Do you have anything you wish to share with us, Judge Pittman?
Two things. You invited me and you gave a lawyer. That's a big mistake. Mr. Mayor, City Council, all of the officials of this city, thank you. And especially you, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for remembering these contributions. You know, when people set out to do what they do, people like Blanche Smith, nobody sets out with the idea that they're going to make history. What they set out to do is they are intending to do the very best they can for the people that they serve and who have entrusted them with the responsibility of doing good things in their communities. And for you all to acknowledge what our contributions have been, and more importantly to have the spirit and the thought of the idea that as part of this entire community, this is a part of our history. It's American history. It really is. And thank you for acknowledging this moment of American history for us all. God bless. God keep you. Good luck in the very difficult deliberations that you have to make in leading our city. And we thank you for what it is you do.
Hear, hear. Black history is indeed American history, and our American greatness would not exist were it not for the black members of our nation's history. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Here.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner German, for your work on that
Thank
resolution.
you, and thank you for the help also. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yep.
All right. Where's the other item? Okay, so we are pulling from the consent agenda and addressing right this moment prior to public comment. This item had been on a previous agenda, so there was opportunity to give comment previously. We're just moving this for expediency and efficiency's sake for tonight's meeting. We will then get into public comment and then the consent agenda. And that item is sale of 720 Leonard Avenue. I do have received acknowledgement from Commissioner Kilgo with regard to a conflict of interest on this item, and so he has noticed me of that conflict. We have published that notice as well. This does require his removal from this conversation and deliberation. So if you wouldn't mind, Commissioner Kilgo, taking a seat temporarily in the audience. And so we have discussed this. This isn't necessarily a new item. This has been on our agenda in the past. We will have opportunity if people do have questions, but this has been on the agenda in the past. And given the declared conflict of interest, this does require a unanimous approval by the remaining non-conflicted commissioners in order for it to be adopted. So, are there any questions before we go to roll call?
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Oh, we do need a motion. Yes. Vice Mayor St. Clair, could you take that away?
I move to approve the purchase agreement for 720 Leonard Avenue. Support.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor St. Clair, supported by Commissioner Gorman. Any discussion before we go to roll call? All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right. Now we're going to be getting on to public comment on any agenda items. Yes, welcome back, Commissioner Kilgo. We're going to be moving on to public comment on any agenda items. Let's see, I've got a few forms, but I don't know if they're on agenda items. There's one on agenda item. I don't believe, that's probably not. Mr. Brunette? Is your item, I'm not calling you up just yet, I just want clarification. You indicated DPW is your description of concern. Is that an item on the agenda tonight, or is this a general? Okay. Okay, so that's going to be at the end of the meeting. So I appreciate your patience in that regard. Then I only got one form for agenda items. There's still time to submit a form for agenda items if you do wish to give public comment. And we will be going to the phones momentarily to allow public comment on agenda items via the phone. First up, though, we have Brad Hastings joining us from the McLaughlin neighborhood. Welcome, Brad.
Welcome.
You have up to
Thank
3
you.
minutes to provide your remarks.
Yeah, so I'd just like to provide some clarification on the agenda item around Cruzy Park. I've been in contact with Kyle Karcheski about that park, and I think what was put in the agenda today was a misrepresentation of the conversations that we've had. So I just wanted to kind of set the record straight there, and I'm going to do that by reading from an email that I sent to Kyle on December 14th. Thanks for having me over yesterday to talk about options for accessibility at Cruz Park. The city has a general requirement to make its programs and services accessible to people with disabilities. This would include parks and recreation. However, there is an exception for things that are an undue burden or are technically infeasible. You indicated that the city has determined that a ramp at Cruzy Park is not feasible because of continuing erosion and because of cost estimates all over $1 million. Per our discussion, the plan moving forward is to build a solid staircase to allow beach access that would replace the broken and unsafe infrastructure in place now, and that later on a lift system may be mounted to the staircase to provide accessibility. You also said that the city would be undergoing a full master planning process for Cruzy Park. It is my recommendation that accessibility be prioritized during the master planning process, including a lift system for beach access, repaved parking lots with accessible spaces, adding accessible picnic tables to all picnic areas, and making sure any play equipment is accessible as well. We also discussed some options for providing a dog beach area where people with disabilities could take their dogs to the beach, since Cruzy Park is is currently inaccessible. We had discussed that letting Harbortown Beach become a dog beach is not equivalent access because it is not on Lake Michigan, and we had also discussed an accommodation program where people with disabilities could get an exception to bring their dogs to a city beach of their choosing. And that's where it ended, but I just wanted to provide some clarification there because I think in the agenda it made it sound like I just was not pushing for a ramp. It has always been my position and the position of Disability Network that there should be a ramp at Cruzy Park. I cannot make the determination of whether or not a ramp is a feasible option or an undue burden for the city, but if that is what you all decided, that was where our discussion kind of went from that point, still trying to provide accessibility. So yes, staircase now, hopefully a lift system later, and I just wanted to provide some clarification on that because, yeah, I was not happy with the language in the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. We appreciate you joining us and sharing that clarity, providing that clarity. And we appreciate your work and advocacy and advancement of a more accessible and inclusive community. All right. Any other forms received for in-person comment on an agenda item? So that will be on general comment at the end of the meeting. It's not an agenda item. So do we have anybody else in the room that wishes to give comment on an agenda item? When you call in, please turn off the television or